Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blackbird Podcast. I am your host, Blackbird, and I am coming at you guys with another video. This, of course, is episode 3 of the Blackbird Project, and I hope you guys have liked episode 1 and 2. I worked really hard on those, and I've also been working really hard on this one as well. I got something different. I always try to come at you guys with something different every episode. I don't want you guys getting bored. The last thing I want to do is make a podcast episode and you guys be bored, because there are enough terrible podcasts out there. I know the names. I'm not going to say them. Okay? Because if I said the names, that's snitching. And that's just something I don't do. Anybody who knows the code of the streets, they know you can't be snitching. So I'm not going to name names. But what I will say is I am very underwhelmed by a lot of podcasts. and I'm not trying to talk shit. I know I just started. I'm just a little fish in a big pond, really, whatever that means. And I don't have a huge podcast. I really don't have anything, because episode 1 and 2 at this point have not been released. Without further ado, let me get into my topic today. I want to start this story, this day in the life story. I really want to start it by saying that a few days, maybe 2-3 days before all of this started happening, I did start weighing myself again, and I haven't done that in months. And honestly, I got hit with that, I got hit with that COVID-15, or no, that quarantine 15. I got hit with it, man. I have gotten a little fat. I'm a little bit of a porker right now. I'm working on it. But like I said, I weighed myself, and I didn't like what I saw on that scale. I did not like it. I honestly got a little angry. I considered smashing the scale into the cabinet. I considered smashing it into the floor. I considered opening the window and throwing it as hard as I can out the friggin' window. I think everybody's had that experience, and at least that's what I'm telling myself. I hope everybody's had that experience. Saw a horrible number. It was about 6 pounds higher than the last time, and I refuse to this day to accept that reality. I don't think that's real. Alright? I'm just going to suppress it in my memory banks, and I'm going to try to never remember those 3 numbers that I saw at my feet. And so I was already feeling a little self-conscious, because I just weighed myself, and boom, it goes up 6 pounds since the last time. So I was not happy. Let's be honest, it might have been 7 pounds. I was not happy. I go to a particular clothing store that I go to at least once a week, sometimes more, just to peruse their clothing selection. I love all the clothes. They're simple, but they really do have really good designs. And they're a clothing chain I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but I'm not going to name drop. I already told you guys, no snitching, okay? If any of you guys are out there and you're thinking about snitching, just don't do it. Don't do it, because you don't want the streets to find out. Anyways, back to the story. I go to the store a lot because I love the clothes, and I just hate some of the customers and the employees, really. I mean, I told you guys last episode that I don't like a lot of people. Honestly, I don't like most people, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to you that I don't like these customers and employees that are also in the store with me. But like I said, I still keep come crawling back, just like a woman going to an evil ex-boyfriend. I just keep come crawling back, and so I'm really just asking for it. Keep going in there. Every time I go there, though, these days at least, the same exact thing happens. Somebody stands directly behind me. I'm talking less than a foot away, 6 inches tops, and says, "Excuse me." I know that doesn't sound like much to you guys, but it's very, very annoying to me. The reason being that every time it's happened, the person could have easily walked around me instead of saying excuse me and making me interact with them. It's COVID season. I don't like people. I don't like new people, especially. And so stop standing behind me and asking me to move. I don't want to move out of your way. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to look at you. I'll look at you with a passing glance, usually. And so it's just annoying, because I feel like when someone does that, they're trying to force me into interacting. And especially these days, I just don't want to do it. I don't. Like I said, this did all start happening after I weighed myself, and I didn't like what I saw Right? I didn't like what I saw. Yeah, it was it's tough getting over that. Seeing, there's some trauma when it comes to seeing a really high number on that scale. You really are kind of scarred. It's like PTSD generated by body shame. And yeah, I mean, I was so angry. I could have fucking broken that scale, but I didn't do it because it wasn't my scale to break. Like I said, though, this stuff has been happening a lot. I keep getting a lot of people standing right behind me. Honestly, when I have people ask me that, when they say, "Excuse me," trying to force me to get out of their way, I think at least 50% of the time, that someone says "excuse me," that they're being passive aggressive. They just want to boss you around. They don't really need to get through. All right, in the cereal aisle, when you're at the grocery store, someone says "excuse me" to you, give them the finger. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. All right, but really though, it's really annoying to have someone do that when you're already thinking that you're fat, and then it's almost like they're fat shaming you. I mean, what do you mean, excuse me? I'm not in your way, lady. Walk around. If you need to get around me, why don't you walk? Use the 2 feet that God gave you. All right? Walk around. Walk around. I mean, because when I go to stores, when I'm in public, I purposefully try to stand out of the way, on the side of aisles, because I'm a very courteous person, and I know that when you're a certain size, like I am, over 200 pounds, don't tell anybody. when you're a certain size, you really do need space when you're moving around. It's just common sense. So I really don't like getting in people's way. I do everything I can to stay out of people's way. And every time I go to the store, someone says, "Excuse me." Right, but excuse me. I mean, really obnoxious. It's not just the words; it's the tone. Yeah, that should have been one of my notes. Is I should have written down. It's the tone that really ticks me off. Because now I gotta turn around, I gotta look for you, then I gotta make eye contact and either talk when I don't want to, and then pretend that I'm happy about moving out of their way because I'm a gentleman. I am a gentleman, but like I said, it's just annoying to have someone standing so close that they're almost touching you. I mean, you're flesh to flesh out there. When someone's standing 6 inches away, I mean, take me on a date first, okay? What are you doing getting up on my rump like that? It's just, what are you doing? What are you doing standing that close to people? I mean, the store is just so annoying. It's relentless because you just have all these people that they just seem to be standing right behind me on purpose. They're doing it on purpose, and it just makes you, it really just drives me crazy because it's just like, okay, let me give you an example. About a week ago, after I weighed myself, I went to the store. I was looking for long sleeve shirts and probably some jumpers. Like I said, I was looking for jumpers and long sleeve shirts. And as I get to the back of the store, the inside is shaped kind of like a it's really rectangular. And I get to the back of the store. I'm near the dressing room. I stand out of the aisle to be courteous. I'm trying to be courteous to get out of someone's way in case somebody wants to come through. I know a lot of people got carts. You need space for carts. And like I said, if you're over 200 pounds like me, you need space in general, even if you don't have a cart, because my ass is huge. Got that dump, baby. But like I said, it's just so annoying. I was standing there, and then a lady who was also, okay, I'm not trying to put her business out there, but she's thick. She's a little fat, like me. And she looks down. I mean, she looks at me from head to toe, and then looks at my gut. She looks at my gut, and then she looks at my gut, and then she says, "Excuse me." And it's just like, oh my God, I'm not even in the way, lady. You can just go ahead and walk right in front of me. I'm not stopping you. Who's stopping you? I'm not stopping you from getting to the dressing room. I'm just minding my own business. This lady's coming over trying to engage in conversation and make me move, even though there's no space for me to move. I think there's at least like an 18-inch clearance in front of me when she says this. So, well, that's probably too little. Probably more like maybe like 30-inch clearance. And so she can get in by me. She just chooses not to. So I try to scooch a little bit out of the way begrudgingly. I was like, and and so I get out of the way, and then like a mad woman, I think she circles back. She circles back and says, "Excuse me," again, and tries to get me to move out of her way again. I don't move the second time because it's ridiculous. It's theater. I don't have to move, lady. I'm not in your way. Then an employee comes by. She's fat too, like me. And she looks at me almost as like, I can tell she's fat shaming me inside of her head. and she says, "Excuse me," like she's got places to go. It's like, lady, you work here. You're not going anywhere until you clock out. And then, like I said, that crazy lady from earlier, the middle-aged lady, the fat one I was talking about, she doesn't work there. And she comes back around, she circles back around the store, tries and says it again. I mean, what is wrong with these people? Then I try to get out of there because I'm like, this is the danger zone. There's a lot of people saying, "Excuse me, I need to get out of this freaking store." And I'm not joking. I think I walked maybe 15 feet. And as soon as I had walked 15 feet away, another employee gets right behind me. I mean, like almost touching, which I'm uncomfortable with. I think it's weird to almost touch someone's ass in public. That's just, who does that? Who does that? They're freaks. Whoever these people are, they're freaks. They're sick. And like I said, I mean, another employee, a guy with a freaking yoga class ponytail, comes up behind me and says, "Excuse me, sir." Like, my ass is so huge, he can't get his cart around it, or whatever it was. Yeah, his cart. And I was done. I mean, it's like, am I not allowed in the store? What's going on? What's going on here? Am I not allowed to look at the jumpers? They're one of my favorite articles of clothing. And I desperately needed some. So I pay for my stuff and I leave. Cut to, I think it was probably yesterday. I go back to the store a week later. As soon as I get in the door, not a minute later, I get a cart and I'm pushing it, but I can't move because we're kind of gridlocked in pedestrian traffic inside of the store. I mean, it's crazy busy. No, it was a couple days ago. Yeah, it was a couple days ago on Saturday. It's crazy busy. And I can't move, so I'm standing there waiting for the people in front of me to move so I can push the cart. Before I can even move away from the door, the lady pulls out a cart as fast as she can. All right, she sprinted over to those carts. She's evil. She sprinted, and then she pushed it right up behind me, almost touching my ass. Which I don't know what people's fascination with my butt is. I have no idea. I mean, I have a nice butt, but it doesn't mean that you can touch it. Okay, all right, ladies, I'm watching you. Ladies, I'm watching you. All right, she puts her cart right behind me and says, "Excuse me, excuse me," and oh my God, I already know what it is. Another person probably looking at my butt, probably my gut, and thinking there's not enough room for them to get around. The earlier day, the week before, there's nowhere for me to move. The store has no room inside of it. It's a rat trap, okay? I mean, I don't know what that means, but it's a rat trap in there. You can't go anywhere, all right? It's like New York City streets. You can't go anywhere. It's tight, all right, when there's a lot of people. I try to move out the way a little bit. I look at her, and it's, like I said, it's awkward. So I say, okay. And when she goes by, she goes, nudges me with her shoulder. You know what I'm thinking. It's the B word. I was like, that B word just ran her shoulder into me. Her elbow trying to push me, but it didn't work. I was too thick. I was way too thick to be pushed out the way. All right, thickness, it's a bad thing when you're showering, and it's bad to be thick when, in love making. And it's also bad, when you take your clothes off and people see you without your shirt off. But the one good thing is that it is hard to knock somebody thick down. That's the one good thing about being thick. You got that resistant, you're really resilient to hits. So she tried to hit me a little bit with her elbow, and I just looked at her, and she pushed her cart away. And she acted like she was going somewhere, but she just pushed it probably 10 feet away and then just stood there for a while. I just don't like people standing behind me and saying, "Excuse me." So if you ever see me in a store, don't get 6 inches away from my tuchus and say, "Excuse me," because it annoys me. And I think you're fat shaming me. All right, moving on to today's story. Well, today's news media story. I want to tell you guys about some entertainment news. I don't know if you guys know this, but actually I didn't know. I mentioned this before. I love acting. I love movies. I'm an aspiring actor. I'm working on my acting career right now, so I love seeing good movies. And one franchise that I really like is Fantastic Beasts by Warner Brothers. And if you guys haven't seen Fantastic Beasts 1 or Fantastic Beasts, I think the second one's called Crimes of Grindelwald. If you haven't seen that, you really need to go watch that immediately. Especially if you guys are Harry Potter heads like me. I love Harry Potter. I am a Potterhead. I love Harry Potter. Ever since I was a kid, I loved Harry Potter. I remember being a kid and going to the movies with my brother and just having so much fun at the Harry Potter premieres. So I've always had that soft spot. I love the Harry Potter movies, and this is in the Wizarding World universe. So like I said, this story is about Fantastic Beasts, and basically Jude Law was being interviewed recently for a new movie he's coming out with. And let me see, what is the movie Jude's coming out with? Yeah, Jude Law is coming out with a new movie called The Nest, and he's acting in it with a woman named Carrie Coon. Jude Law revealed Johnny Depp he's left the Fantastic Beasts franchise because recently, if you guys don't know this, you probably do, because Johnny's been getting a lot of negative press this year regarding his ex-wife Amber Heard. Johnny, I think he filed a British libel case against the tabloid The Sun, and he did not win. He actually lost recently, and that loss caused Warner Brothers to ask Johnny Depp to step down from his role of Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series. And of course, that means that we will not be seeing Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts 3. To my knowledge, it sounds like they've filmed at least one day of already, though we probably will be scrapping that footage because that one day that they have filmed includes Johnny Depp, so he won't be able to act any of the rest of the filming days. So you're going to have to recast Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts 3, and I just wonder who is going to take over the role of Grindelwald. It's really interesting. I just can't wait to see what they come up with because I love Warner Brothers, and I definitely love the Fantastic Beasts franchise. It's probably one of my favorite right now, so I had to get this story into the pod. And I also feel like some of you guys might be interested because you might also be Potterheads and you probably have already watched Fantastic Beasts 1 and Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald. Like I said, they're going to have to recast Johnny, so what I'm wondering is who is going to be the new Grindelwald? I also think to myself, what is the upside to the story? It's a lot of negative stuff because The Sun said that Johnny Depp was a wife beater. Since he lost that British libel case, that might mean, or at least hint at, the fact that there is some evidence to confirm Johnny Depp is a wife beater, which is sad because he's incredible as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, and he really is incredible as Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean legendary movie series. And so I wonder, does that mean he's going to lose his ties to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as well? It's just interesting, guys, that things are happening really quickly when it comes to Johnny Depp, and it's been a lot of bad stuff this year for him. I wonder, what's the upside? The upside is that there will be another Fantastic Beasts movie, Fantastic Beasts 3. That's awesome. Now, but of course, what is the downside? I think of two things. One, that Amber Heard, his ex-wife, was allegedly abused, and two, the fact that Grindelwald will be recast. So Johnny is crazy. He really is that little Hollywood bad boy, even though he's in his 50s. I think he's like 57 now. He doesn't look it though. Even though he, was so good as Grindelwald, will they be able to get a replacement? Another actor? Will they be able to recast that role with an actor who really fulfills that role properly, and you can really imagine as this magician? Some people, I feel like, wouldn't be good in a franchise like this, a fantasy franchise. Comment down below who you guys think is going to play Grindelwald in the next movie. I have no idea. Lastly, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Ramune. If you haven't heard of Ramune, it's a really popular soda from Japan. If you've played video games, if you're a weebo, if you're a nerd, you've heard of Ramune. And so I just think if you haven't had one, you really need to try it. Also, if you've watched anything filmed in Japan, animated in Japan, you're probably one of those people that you've already had Ramune. It's really an interesting drink. The bottle has a really interesting shape, which mostly has to do with the fact that there's a fucking marble inside of the bottle. A marble. And basically, when you're drinking it, that marble sits in the middle of the bottle and then slides down into these two grooves and is held there, and basically the soda drips down the bottom side of the bottle and the marble falls down into those two grooves. The soda kind of really flows around that marble, and it looks really cool while you're drinking it because the bubbles come up and wrap around the marble. It's really cool, and then it makes a cool little ding sound when you're done drinking, when the marble falls back down when you set it on the table. I really think this is a good soda. The thing is, I did notice the one bad thing about the soda, I really like the taste, but the bad thing is it does have 90 calories and it's only like, I believe, 6.76 fluid ounces. That's kind of a lot of calories for what is basically half the size of a 12-ounce soda. It's kind of a lot of calories because I looked into it, and a can of Pepsi has 150 calories, and this is 90, and it's only 6.76 ounces, so it's a little sweet. Kind of a lot of high fructose corn syrup, but it tastes very good. Honestly, it tasted so good, I thought that it might have been made with cane sugar, and I was surprised when I read the ingredients and it wasn't. So that's kind of surprising. It has a really, really good taste. I have a memory tying me to the Ramune. Remember when I was probably somewhere between the ages of 14 and 16, I had a Ramune for the first time, and I think it was the original, which is the one that I bought to do a review in this podcast episode. I bought a few originals so I could really tell you guys how it tastes and not just talk about something and never have had it myself. I had one for the first time when I was 14 or 16, somewhere between that, and I went to a video game convention that was in my area, which is ridiculous because I think it was the first and last video game convention that we ever had. It was in a local DoubleTree hotel, and it was really fun in their conference area. I remember they just had all kind of Japanese snacks and, things like mochi. They had lots of Ramune Soda. If any of you guys have had it, there's different flavors. There's a strawberry, I believe, and an orange. So they had different flavors, but of course your boy went with that old school Ramune. The other strange thing was there was a energy drink that was there as well. And I am not joking. It was called Balls. I thought that was funny at the time, and it's still funny, but I'm getting on a tangent. Like I said, though, I got a Ramune when I went there with my older brother and to that video game convention. It was just a really good soda, and I was really hyped because I had never had one before. And I was definitely a big fan of anime by then because I was a big fan of anime when I was a kid. And so I had heard about it. I had so much fun that night that I kept the bottle for years as a memento, and because I needed to remember the name of that soda so I could buy some more. Anybody who loves soda, you know what I mean. It's addictive. You get one that you like, you're like, I want another one. That's what I thought. I want another one when I had that Ramune. Man, if you guys get some Ramune, really just leave it in the refrigerator. Wait till that bottle is completely chilled. Maybe even put it in the freezer briefly. I'm kind of weird. I do put glass in the freezer. There's nothing like putting your soda in the freezer and then taking it out and just being frosty. I mean, having that really, really cold drink. It just makes the Ramune even better. It brings out the carbonation and the flavor perfectly. And but be careful because the Ramune is made out of glass, and there is a glass marble inside of it. The funny thing is that the drink is so interesting and the marble looks so cool that's inside of it. It's just a clear marble, but it looks so cool that I guess some morons who buy it have been trying to get the marble out. Guys, if you buy Ramune, it even says it on the packaging, but I'm going to warn you, do not remove the marble. Leave it in there. Leave it in the bottle, okay? Because honestly, I think I thought about taking it out of the bottle once too, but I think the top of it is just like blue glass, and there's no way you're going to get that marble out of there without cutting yourself severely. You'll probably break the marble when you try to get it out, so just don't do it, guys. All right? Japan apparently senses that a lot of morons who drink Ramune want that marble. I mean, marbles are worth nothing, but there's just something about the Ramune marble that when you drink, after you're done drinking that soda, you just want to get the freaking marble out. I don't know what it is. I think I did try several years ago, and I might have cut myself. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And like I said, it's the warning about it is on the bottle. So ramen is cool. To open it, you take off this foil, and then there's like, I guess you say like like a little plastic ring. And then there's also a plastic piece in the middle that's an opener. It's like it's flat on top and it's got a little cylinder shape on the bottom of it to push the marble out. Because the marble is actually what is sealing that soda. Is that foil protecting it, keeping dust and things off of it. And then also the two plastic pieces, you separate them. And then you take the ring and you set it aside. You're not going to need it for opening. Then you put the opener, you place that on top of the marble, which is actually lodged into the opening of the bottle, which is kind of interesting. Makes me wonder, how did they get the marble stuck in there in the top of the bottle like that, you know? But anyways, that's for another day. Like I said, I mean, one thing I will say, a word of caution, if you've never had one, you get one, which I hope you do get a Ramune Soda, because they're amazing. They're not like American soda, but they kind of taste like it, but they're a good treat, guys. Go to your ethnic section, go to your Japanese section, your grocery store, get you some Ramune, all right? But before you open it, you really gotta hold on to the bottle and make sure the bottle's not going anywhere, because you do kind of have to push hard with that plastic opener that comes with the Ramune. And because what you're trying to do is put enough pressure on that marble and push the marble that's in the top of the bottle down into the middle of the bottle, where there's this little channel groove where it gets really kind of bottlenecked. I hate to use that term, but in the middle, so that the marble rolls back and forth and can then roll back and forth and sit in that groove I was talking about earlier where the soda flows through. Hold on to the bottle, guys, because you're going to have to push kind of hard on that marble. And when you push hard on that marble, you'll hear a sound. And now you know that your Ramune is open. All you can do is take the opener off the top. If you see the marble down in the bottle, you know it's open. That's how you know the Ramune is open, bud. If you see that marble in the middle, then you're good to go. It's late, guys. I'm gonna head out, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the Ramune, and I really do recommend it. It's a good soda. It really is. It's a breath of fresh air if you've never had anything like it, and especially if you like anime or manga or Japanese video games or anything Japanese. Or even if you don't like Japanese stuff, just go drink one. Put one in your mouth, okay? Put it in your mouth. I love you guys. Thank you for listening and supporting the Blackbird Project. And until next time, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. But if you mess with the Blackbird, then you get the beak, baby.